one way to think about it, it's a moment that when we're in eternity, we'll look back and we'll be so happy that we lived it. Right? So can you imagine how many special moments we've had? And all of those moments, not one of them is lost. I think this is one of them. Okay? This is so special. So special to be here. I mentioned before that I met Moshe when we were both single. And we met just a little bit in Los Angeles, and we ended up in Israel at the same time. We went on trips together. And once we were in the penthouse of a building on the corner of King George and Shayagno, across the street from what is now the King's Prima or something. And it was Seudah Shlishit. And we were there, and Moshe started creating a song, bringing it down. And all of a sudden a vision opened up to me of what the song was about. And I got so much from it that I literally have carried all these years, and I sing it every once in a while, and I want to share with you, and I want to sing the song together. So the vision was, there's a general, he's with his wife, and they're in an intimate moment together, sharing a deep connection with each other, and all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. And one of the soldiers says, Commander-in-Chief, the king has ordered that the troops move out under your direction to squelch a rebellion in a distant part of the kingdom. And so he says to the soldier, okay, go, I'll be there soon. He closes the door and comes back with his wife. And he says, my beautiful wife, my awesome wife, I love you so much. I have to leave now. It'll be for a short time. I'm certain we will be back very soon and victorious. And they hug, they kiss each other, and they bid farewell. And then as they're leaving town, with all the whole army leaving town, there's like this incredible triumphant music playing to send off the soldiers, to send off the army of the king for victory. It's very, very joyous, because it's like, for sure, we're going to win. And then after a while, we're there still. And he's writing letters back to his wife. It's taking longer than we thought, but Mamash, I'll be back soon. I promise you. It's a little bit harder than we thought, but I'll be back soon. And then, Baruch Hashem, they come back. And it's triumphant again. And they come into the city, into the royal city. And the king is there, and they're welcomed. And they really, truly did come back. It's amazing. And he's with his wife, and he said, I told you, I would never leave you. And I'll never leave you again. And yet, soon after that, another knock at the door. Commandant, Commander-in-Chief, the king has ordered that you must leave again. Another war. Okay. So he goes, in the triumphant and everything, and then it gets like mamish. It's a long time, and it drags on. So we had the first temple, and it was awesome to be in the first temple. We had prophets. We were so close to Hashem. And the time came when Hashem said, you got to leave, but you'll come back. You have to be away 70 years. We promised that we would come back. We would never forget Yerushalayim. In Mishkechech Yerushalayim, Tishkach Yemini. I'll never forget you. And we looked back, and he said, we're coming back. This is only temporary. And while we were there in Babylon, it was like a little bit longer than we would want. But Baruch Hashem, we did come back. And we came back and said, we told you we'd come back, Hashem. We'd come back to you with all of our hearts. And we built the second temple. And we're back with our husband. The wife is back with the husband's back with the wife, whoever is the wife. We're usually the wife, Hashem. We love you so much. So they're together, but then another knock at the door, and we got to leave again. So it's very deep that we mamish, the precedent has been set, that once we left, we actually came back. And so even though, as long as it's going on, we mamish have a promise, we're going to come back. And this now is the story that came to me behind the words of Mizmor David, the 23rd Psalm. And it goes up, and it goes down into the valley of the shadow of death. And it gets a little bit like, uh-oh, it's longer than we thought. But then we come back. So let's try. We've never done it together. How do we do this?
You start.
I start.
And then we follow.
Okay. So let's try it like this. Mizmor David.
How does it go?
Mizmor David. Adonai Roi Lo Echsar. Yabi Seni Hamemelucho Nafshi Yeshovev Yancheni. They're leaving town now.
That was the Sephardi version. I just thought Abraham went to the beach a lot when we were in Los Angeles.
Not bad.
No, it wasn't bad either. I just turned into tomato and he turned into like a mushroom. And but then later on found out that he was Sephardi. It was in the jeans. He wore Sephardi jeans, Calvin Klein, different Sephardi people from the got a good deal in New Jersey on the jeans. That was a pun, but I'll explain that later. Okay, we'll sing right along. We had a request from our world. This is actually the first song that sort of came. Having been around Shlomo, as we all were in our youth, Shlomo, we, I guess, understood was not a musician. That's probably far from it. It's about the last thing he was. Although he did have a guitar, and people would carry it for him, which was very good. And the strings were on the guitar sometimes. And sometimes they were tuned, but that had nothing to do with Shlomo. He would play it, and he had a capo. Just showed people a capo. It's a small little chicken, metal chicken actually. And he would play up and down the guitar, and the music would come. So, don't know how it happened, but this was a song that just came in the river in California. Tell you how to get there. Just get a GPS and put in Paul Van Dam campground on Route 108 between Boonville and Mendocino. Take a left, cross the river, and go 3 miles to a big redwood tree. This is what it's all about.